Welcome back to another 90 Day Fiancé recap. Let's talk The Last Resort Season 2 Tell All Part 2. So Julia lets us know again that she kissed her ex-boyfriend when Brandon had just started the K-1 visa process. So that means they were already engaged. But this is where it gets a little confusing because she said that she and Brandon got into a huge fight and they stopped talking for a bit, but they didn't say how long they stopped talking. They just said they stopped talking and she thought the relationship was over. So she assumed that they were done and therefore she went to go lean on her ex.
But in this time, we have a huge fight in Russia. And he left and we stopped speaking for a while. And I thinking we done, but he thinking we just have little fight. But in my brain, I thinking we done.
And Jasmine is so messy because she was like, oh, what kind of kiss? French kiss? Was there tongue? And Julia goes, Jasmine. And she's like, but I want to know. I swear she is a TV producer's wet dream. But Brandon shuts it right down and he goes, I don't want to know. And she's like, but I want to know. So then Sean turns to Brandon's parents and she goes, so how do you guys feel about this? And surprisingly, they have her back. They were like, well, we believe it was a mistake. You know, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Everybody gets that way. So then Brandon asks her, did you cheat on me again? Like anything after that with anybody else? And Julia swears on his life that she did not. It was just that one time in Russia after their big fight. Nothing ever happened again with anybody else. And Brandon goes, okay, so they hug it out. And then she tells Brandon, are you ready to move on from this? Because you keep holding this over my head and you keep bringing it up constantly and you can't do that anymore. And Rob's like, damn, can you give him a second? He just found out, which normally I do agree with. I feel like if you're presented with new information, you can change your mind and you should be allowed to have the time to process it. But that's not the case. Brandon found out at the resort, which was filmed many, many months prior to filming the tell-all. And I do agree that if Brandon chooses to forgive her and stay with her, then he needs to let it go. He can't keep bringing this up in arguments because if you can't let it go, then you can't ever move on and progress in your relationship. You're always going back to oh my God. I just had a brain fart. You're going back to square one. At this time, Brandon cannot trust Julia 100%. And his mom tries to encourage him. She's like, I know you love her and she loves you. And he's like, yeah, I just need some time. And then Julia agrees. She feels like it's fair. Next is Sophie. And they address Sophie's new look and her new boobies. Apparently, Rob hasn't seen Sophie's melons ever since she got new ones. And so backstage, she gives him a full frontal and he goes, damn.
I just showed him in the changing room because he hadn't seen them yet.
Oh!
I just, whoop.
I want to touch him.
And then they kind of frame it to make it seem like Sophie did all this to get back at Rob or to like do this revenge body kind of thing. But I just want to say, I know a lot of girls do that. Like after a breakup, you want to work on yourself and you want to be a better version of yourself, but it's not always for a guy. But in Sophie's case, I do believe she did it because she kind of wanted to get back at Rob and kind of show him like what he could have had or what he used to have and he doesn't have anymore.
We just had sex like, and I mean like a lot, like, and it was really good. It was really good, and we had sex, like, for months, like.
So then Sean asks them when they started hooking up again, and it's so funny how they were not having schmex while they were together, but then after they broke up, like, she's just wanting to have schmex all the time with him, and I just find that so funny. So apparently they went to Disneyland together after they broke up as friends, and a few months later, when they saw each other again to film the Between the Sheets, they started banging a whole bunch. And apparently it was amazing. It was very frequent. Sophie was suddenly very schmexually attracted to Rob and wanted to constantly have schmex with Rob. And then Sophie realized that she was starting to catch feelings again and wondering if she could get back with him. And then she was like, oh no. We need to stop this right now. And honestly, if that is true, like if she really had that realization and if she really had that wherewithal to tell Rob, like, we need to stop this, then I would say that she's grown. Sophie decides at the tell-all that the best thing to do is to get a divorce and not to speak to each other. But I don't know, do you guys think that's going to happen or do you guys think they're going to keep hooking up? I feel like it's the latter. Then Natalie spends a few moments sucking Rob's boon hole by telling him he's such a wonderful, great stand-up guy.
And Rob is a great guy. Yeah.
Thank you.
You deserve good stuff.
You know what, Natalie? If you think he's such a loving, caring, wonderful, sweet guy, then I hope your next boyfriend is a Rob. Then we get a scene from between the sheets, and this is kind of confusing because I didn't really understand what the point of this whole entire scene was, because we didn't even get answers and we didn't get a resolution. So basically we see Jasmine telling Julia that Sophie has a sugar daddy and he's super rich and he funds her lifestyle. And on stage you can see Rob fuming. And then Natalie goes, "Who told you, Jasmine?" And Jasmine goes, "It's a secret." And then Rob blows up and he's like, "I'll tell you who exactly told her. It was me."
I'll tell you exactly where she got it from. I tried to comfort Jasmine when she was sitting on the curb in the beginning of Last Resort. "Oh, so Sophie doesn't live with you?" I said, "No, she hasn't lived with me in a while." She said, "How does she pay for things?" I said, "I don't really know." She said, "You think she has a sugar daddy?" I said, "I mean, I don't know how she pays for things, but I don't know."
Hold on for a second. We're going to move on.
And then Sean doesn't press anything. She doesn't answer any questions. Sophie just makes a joke that she does have a sugar daddy and he's 94 years old, but that was a joke. Hee hee ha ha. But that's it. But like, can we get some clarification? Nobody asked her straight up, "Do you have a sugar daddy?" I want to know. I want details, okay? Help a girl out. Where do I get one? How are they going to make this a thing by showing us that clip and then just glaze over it and not ask Sophie point blank, "Do you have a sugar zaddy? Yes or no?" Again, Sean is such a bad host. Sean is such a bad host. I heard a rumor that she doesn't even watch the show. She doesn't even know the episodes. She just gets a TLDR notes, okay, of what happened and what to ask. And that's it. That's why she doesn't know the ins and outs of anybody's relationship. And that's why she can't ask the good questions. Next, we have Stacy and Florian, and apparently things were great after the resort, but things slowly went back to their old toxic ways. Florian thinks therapy did not help, that it did absolutely nothing, and he doesn't believe in therapy anyway. Well, that's sad, because at the resort, he pretty much admitted that therapy surprisingly helped him a lot. Remember, at the recommitment ceremony, we heard him say that. He was like, "Yeah, I really didn't believe in therapy. I don't like therapy, but I have to admit, I think it helped us a lot. It helped me realize a lot of things." He said that. It came out of his mouth. And now he's like, "I don't believe in it. It's just a bunch of bull crap." Listen, we already know that Florian is not an emotional person. He does not do emotions.
I did it for her. So I don't believe in therapists. I never believe to all stranger people to come to me for the paycheck to talk to me.
Stacy says Florian wants to go out all the time still, and he doesn't want to spend any time with her. She feels like her own husband doesn't even like her, and they haven't been intimate for at least 4 months. So that probably means they weren't intimate for even longer. Because you know how we girlies like to downplay things when it comes, well, not all girls, but I feel like I'm one of them. Like, we kind of want to downplay how bad things might be because we're embarrassed and we're scared of the judgment. So I feel like if she says 4 months, it's more like 7 months, 8 months. She also feels like he's only nice to her or pays attention to her when he wants something. And then she starts to cry, and I felt so bad for her.
He doesn't really want to be around me. I feel like my own husband doesn't even like me.
God help me.
We haven't slept together 4 months.
Oh, wow.
And it's kind of like hard to talk about.
Listen, Florian is great entertainment. He's so funny. He's amazing reality TV, but he is not a good partner. Definitely not a good partner for Stacy. He actually sucks as a partner. I would not want anyone I care about, any one of my friends or sisters, to be with him. I wish she'd break up with him. Like, she deserves so much better. She's such a sweet, kind, caring, loving, beautiful person, and I wish she just kind of knew her worth and her value, and she does not deserve to be treated like this. She shares about going through menopause, and she notices so many changes within her body, and Florian just doesn't care. He's not empathetic. He doesn't try to be understanding. He doesn't try to learn. And then Sean asks the men, "Who here knows anything about menopause?" And nobody knows except for Rob, and he tries to tell us that it's something that happens with women when they stop getting their periods. Okay, I mean, at least he knew something. But all the men are like, "Oh, we don't know.
I don't know anything. Like, it's not out of my wheelhouse.
They play back a scene of Florian and Jasmine fighting at the bar, and the whole time you can see how stressed Stacy is. She's always on alert. She's always at the edge of her seat. God, that is a stressful way to live. Sean says, "You seem to get triggered easily." And Florian's like, yes, I do. Who's gonna tell him? Anger management. Florian, Rob, Jasmine, they all need to sign up for anger management stat. Stacy reveals that he calls her a bitch and a hoe whenever he gets mad, and Florian denies it, and he also denies having any anger issues as he's yelling and as he's getting angry, he's like, I don't have any anger issues. I'm totally fine. People just keep poking the bear. You don't make me mad and I'm not mad. Okay, leave me alone and I'm fine. He's literally yelling. His face is red. His voice is escalating while he's saying that he doesn't have any anger issues. Make it make sense. Okay, that's called having anger issues. You're welcome.
No, angry, but I don't have anger issues, but just leave me alone.
You're gonna have a heart attack at like age 40.
Oh,
if you
don't worry
continue
about my
like
life.
this.
I'm sort of God I die right now. I don't give a same. Oh, you worry about my life.
If people have to watch what they say so much, if they have to tiptoe around you, if they're so scared to say something wrong that'll trigger you so that you'll blow up in their face, then you have anger issues. You don't know how to manage your emotions. You have a very low EQ. You should seek help. There's nothing wrong with seeking help. It helps you become a better person. Even Gino looks at Florian. He's like,
Well, Florian, you know you're my brother and I love you very much, but you do have anger issues.
yeah, I think he told him that because he was also the victim of Florian's outburst. Remember at the bar when he stood up and got in his face and Gino was trying to punch him? And you guys, Florian's getting angry. Every single time Stacy tries to talk to him or brings up a point or something, he gets increasingly more and more mad.
I guess take on that mother role, even
My
though.
mother stays.
Yeah, because.
My mother for what? Tell me.
No.
Okay,
That's
you're
not what we're
taking it
talking
like-
about.
Josh cuts in and he tries to sugarcoat things. He's like, well, Florian is just straight to the point. He's a little blunt, and Stacy kind of takes it sensitively. And Florian, you just need to be a little bit more sensitive to Stacy. You need to be soft with her.
I think that you just need to work on your soft touch to her. And that's the only thing that I think that you need to work on.
Okay.
Well, that seemed to have worked because Florian did eventually calm down. They play a scene of Darcy and Stacy fighting at the resort, and then Sean welcomes Darcy and Georgi on stage.
Darcy and Georgi.
Who is that? Darcy already looked so different at the last resort, but now she looks even more different. Oh my goodness. I truly hope she takes a break from all the cosmetic enhancements. Like, I really do. I think she just needs to lay off for a little bit, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Darcy and Stacy start fighting about how Darcy and Florian are way too close, and it hurts her feelings when they're going out a bunch, especially when she was recovering from surgery alone. Florian and Darcy were out all the time. That's so sad. So then Sean asks Georgi, do you think Darcy and Florian are too close? And he's like, no, not really. And then she asks him, should Stacy trust Florian? And Georgi goes, no. Dun dun dun. And that's where the episode ends. You guys, I need Darcy and Stacy back on my TV. I need them back. Like, please, TLC, Matt Sharp, bring them back, please. Next week, we're going to hear from Ari and Binny and Natalie and Josh, and I cannot wait. Josh seems very angry with Natalie, and I feel like it's probably justified because Natalie gets batshit crazy. And I think he just had enough. Finally, he's had enough. Well, that's it for the recap. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye!